Hey everyone, it's Andy here. Boy, it's been a while since I put a video on YouTube, so I thought I'd take this time to get a bit more active on here. And somebody had recently asked me if I would mind breaking down aerial boundaries from Michael Hedges. And I thought that was a cool idea. I know it's pretty hard to find a transcription for that tune these days, so hopefully this will be something helpful for you folks out there. And what I'm going to do is sort of break the tune down into 3 different videos where we'll have the sort of first third, and then the middle third, and then the final third. And you guys can put any questions you have in the comments below, and I'll get back to you on that. And if there's anything that needs a bit more involved description, I'll shoot a video trying to explain some of the parts that might need a bit more explanation. So, alright, so Aerial Boundaries from Michael Hedges. It's a really revolutionary piece of music. Came out in 1984 on the album with the same name. And so I'd made several attempts at learning this tune and always struggled, and I still do, especially with the middle part, so we'll get to that in the next video. But one of the main things Michael was known for is using altered tunings with his playing, so he was inspired by people like Joni Mitchell and Crosby, Stills and Nash to get into using altered tunings. And he came up with a lot of really beautiful and unique tunings, and this would be one of them. You're going to start from low to high, C, C, D, G, A, D. So the 6th string is down 2 whole steps to a C from the E, and the 5th string is up a step and a half to C, and then you've got D, just like normal on a standard tune guitar, and then G, just like normal, and then A on the 2nd string, so that's down a whole step from B, and then 1st string is down a whole step to D from E. Alright, C, C, D, G, A, D. Alright, so if you've worked on any of my tunes in the past, you might know that, or you might recognize this tuning as being quite similar to the tunings for Rylan and For My Father and Keys to the Hover Car. And that's because I was actually going to work on Aerial Boundaries 15, 20 years ago or something, and I hadn't gotten around to tuning the 6th string down to C, so it was still at E, and I really love the way that sounded, and that's E, C, D, G, A, D, and that's the tuning for those songs I mentioned earlier, so it's a bit of trivia. And then also I should mention too, I've got a Tonewood amp on the back of my guitar, the back of my car, wouldn't that be something, on the back of my guitar here today, so that's where the reverb's coming from, and a bit more volume. So check that out. If you're not familiar with Tonewood amp, you might like that. I really enjoy using that. Alright, there's the reverb. Okay, so Aerial Boundaries, you've got a technique throughout most of the tune, an ostinato pattern of hammer-ons and pull-offs with your left hand. So if you haven't really played a tune where there's a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs throughout the whole tune, you could take this first section and just practice it while you're doing something else even. You could be watching TV or cooking pasta over the stove and have your guitar on and just practice this hammer-on pull-off techniques, just repeating. And you're going to be hammering on the 2nd fret of the 1st string and the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. Okay, and you're going to take your ring and middle finger, just like that, hammering on and pulling off over and over like that. Okay, so that's the left hand here in the first minute or so of the guitar tune here, Aerial Boundaries. You're just going to be hammering on and pulling off over and over. And your right hand is going to be muting though, and this is a real key component of this whole tune, is string stopping and muting, so that you create interesting rhythms, and also so you can define melodic ideas a little bit more. So we're going to be stopping strings from ringing out quite a bit with the right hand in this tune. So in this first part of the tune where you're hammering on and pulling off here, you're going to be muting strings and lifting off the mute to let notes ring out when they need to be sounded. So now the first beat you're going to have the hammer on, and then you want to bring the mute on and pull those fingers off, and then hammer on again and take the mute off again with the right hand. So yeah. Okay, that's the first part of the tune. If you want, you can practice just having the mute on, and you can hear how the hammer-ons and pull-offs sound with the mute. And you can use your index and middle, or you can use your index and ring. I think either way is okay, really. So, muting those strings sounds like that. Just kind of gives you a percussive sound. You can hear. Okay, so if you're a fan of Rage Against the Machine, this rhythm is very similar to Bulls on Parade. It's actually identical, but you know, Aerial Boundaries came out about 20 years before. So if you're about my age, maybe you're into Rage Against the Machine, then you can have that rhythm in your head. All right, just like that. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is add in some melody, and Michael does the melody on the bass strings here, and what we're going to do is play a C with your thumb and then a D with your index finger. That's going to be the open 5th string and then the open 4th string. Now here again you can hear the string stopping and the importance of it in a melodic context. So down here, this rhythmic context, we sort of defined a rhythmic idea by string stopping. But we're also going to use string stopping to help define the melody here. So if we were just to play the 5th string open with your thumb and then the 4th string open with your index finger, it sounds like this. So, you know, and that's okay, I mean, but the problem with that as far as defining the melody is that, you know, the C and the D are only a whole step apart. The frequencies aren't too far apart from each other, so they're kind of fighting each other, and you don't have a real defined D note in there because the C is just ringing out the whole time and the D is kind of hovering on top. If we stop the C, then we have C and then D, and it becomes really clear like this. Okay? So the way to handle that is to play the 5th string C with your thumb, and then we need to stop that string from ringing. So we bring the thumb back and it rests on the 5th string, and you play the 4th string with your index finger. That's going to be pretty much at the same time. When you stop that 5, you play that 4. Okay? And those are both open strings, so you don't have to use your left hand to do any fretting. I mean, your left hand is going to be busy doing the hammer-on pull-off pattern still. Okay? So, but just slowly again, the right hand. If you don't do the muting, you get. All right, and with the muting. All right. I should mention too, I like to use alter tunings, obviously, if you're familiar with my music, and sometimes it's nice to let notes ring out. You know, open strings, harmonics. And, you know, with these alter tunings, you have sort of an expanded range. You're tuning some strings down, some strings go up. And so with these notes ringing out, sometimes it gives you a nice sort of sonic landscape there, ringing out. And it gives the illusion of multiple instruments sometimes and all that. But Aerial Boundaries kind of shows you the importance of string stopping and how it can really define some of your ideas a bit more, like the melody or the rhythm. Okay? So with the hammer-on pull-off part on the left hand, what's going to happen is the C note with your thumb is sort of a pickup note, and then the index finger D is right on the 1. So that happens right on the 1, right when you hammer on the 2nd fret. Now the next thing we're going to do is add in a couple more notes to that melodic statement. And so we had the C and the D. We're going to hit a G with your middle finger, third string, right after the D. And then that's going to be ringing out the G is, and you're going to hammer on, that hammer-on pattern that we're doing is going to keep going. And then we'll play the the second string, A, with your ring finger. So that's what happens on the right hand. But with the hammer-ons we get okay. Next thing we're going to do is hit the third string open and the second string open again. So we're going to tack that on to the melody notes we already had, and it sounds like this. Alright. The next thing we want to do is some variations on both hands, where the left hand you're going to do a hammer on the second string, second fret. So you're going to have... Okay, so that's just bringing the middle finger over to the second string for that hammer on. And with the right hand you've got... Okay, so slowly what we added in there was playing an open third string, hammer on to the second fret, third and first string, play the second string open, and hammer on the first and second strings on the second fret. Play the open third string again, hammer on the third and first strings again this time on the second fret, and then play the open second string. So that's... So that's the new thing that we just added in there. Okay, I'll do it extra slow here one time. Alright, gets a little bit weird in there, but I hope that's all clear, and let me know if you have any questions down below there. Alright, so next up is the slap harmonic, and if you've played sort of modern acoustic guitar music anytime lately, you're probably familiar with what a slap harmonic is, but just in case you're not, what you need to do is create a harmonic with your right hand only. You're not going to fret a harmonic and strum it. You're going to use just your right hand to slap the strings over a harmonic note to generate a harmonic. So in this case, we're going to do it over the 12th fret, and we're going to try to aim it in such a way where we just get sort of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. And so you can use your index finger or your middle finger, and I tend to use my middle finger, and I sort of use this area right around the first knuckle to slap harmonics on the guitar. Okay, and you're just going to kind of twist your wrist up, bring it down right on the 12th fret, right on the metal, and bounce off. Okay, so rather than just open strings, it's an octave up, that 12th fret harmonic. Oh, that time I kind of hit the first string. We kind of want 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in there. Okay, bounce right off the strings like that. Alright, and that's going to be on a syncopation here on the end of the 2, I think it is. And we're going to have these hammer-ons down here still going, but this time we're not going to be doing any mutes. It's just going to be hammer-on, pull-off, over and over down here. Okay? And you're going to use your thumb on the right hand to strum the 6th and 5th strings to get that octave there. Okay? Okay, so the strum is right on 1. And the syncopation happens there with the harmonic when you pull off down here on the left hand. Okay. So now we're at the 9th fret with the right hand. You can use the index and middle if you like to tap those notes, or you could do sort of a bar where you hammer it on with sort of the side of your index finger. And whenever I do that sort of a move, I tend to stack my middle finger on top of the index finger to get some more strength. So you can do it either way, more direct with the fingertips or the side. Here in just a moment we're going to do some sort of longer bars where you're going to tap covering 4 strings. So if you want to just get in the habit of using the bar, that's fine. Or if you're more comfortable doing it just with the tips, I think it's okay too. So you've got when you pull that off there, you're going to start sliding down the guitar neck, and then we're going to end up pulling off the fingers to get the open C notes again, the open C 5th string and open C 6th string. Okay. On the 3rd measure of going through this pattern, okay, that happens there. So we got the 9th fret, and then down to 7. Okay, now at this point, you come up to the 5th fret, and you've got your hammer-on pull-off pattern still going on the 1st and 3rd strings. And that happens through half the measure, and then you come back to the 2nd fret again on 1st and 3rd strings. So we go up here, 5th fret. Okay. Next part we're going to do is hammering on and pulling off on the 3rd fret now, but this time it's going to be on the 2nd string and 1st string. So you're over here, and with the right hand we're going to do the bar that I was talking about just a moment ago. So you're going to actually cover the 6th, 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings all with your right hand. Okay, so let's get these hammer-ons going here. Okay, so that rhythm there with the right hand is 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you're going to come down to the 5th fret with your right hand and have the same rhythm. 3, 4. Okay. Now the left hand in this section is a little bit more involved. We're going to keep that sort of hammer-on, pull-off thing going, but we're going to have another extra little pull-off here that kind of, it definitely makes the part more interesting, but also makes it more difficult. So we're going to have the 2nd fret on the 1st string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and we're going to sort of alternate here. First we're going to go with this 2nd fret 1st string, 3rd fret 2nd string, and then up to the 3rd fret on both of them. We'll pull those off. Okay, let's do that just a few times slowly. That's pretty cool, and that makes it interesting. But there's one more little thing we have to add in there on the left hand, and this is where it gets a bit tricky. So what you're going to actually want to do here is, you got the 2 and the 3, pull off both 3s, back to the 2 and 3, come up to two of them on the 3rd fret again, but when you pull these off this time, you're going to add your index finger to the 2nd fret on the 1st string, so it sounds like that. So the 3rd fret on the 2nd string is pulling off to 0, the 3rd fret on the 1st string is pulling off to the 2nd fret. Okay, so we have, okay, so you got to add in that index finger right before you do that pull off there. Okay. Okay, now the next move that you have to do is hammer on that 3rd fret on the 2nd string again, and then pull both of these guys off here. Okay. Now after that, you're going to hammer on again to the 3rd fret on both strings, pull them off, then the 2nd and 3rd fret, pull them off, 3rd fret again, both of them pull off. So that's the entire measure for the left hand. Okay, so one more time, slowly. 2nd and 3rd fret, both of them, pull it off. 3rd fret on both of them and pull it off. 2nd and 3rd fret, pull it off. 3rd fret on both of them, pull off this time, but add in the index finger behind the 3rd fret on the 1st string, so you get that E note on the 1st string. Okay. Hammer on again the 3rd fret on the 2nd string by itself, so now you've got this shape again, and you can pull both of them off together. Back up to the 3rd fret on both, 2nd, 3rd, 3rd fret on both. That's the whole measure. Okay. One more time. with the right hand, the big bar we're doing over here, covering 4 strings, 6th through 3rd, all on the 5th fret. And that's going to have that same syncopated rhythm that we did on the 7th fret. So we get. Sorry, yeah, I had the rhythm wrong there on the first 2. That last one was right. So one more time we go. One more time, slowly. Well, I mess it up when I do it slow. One more time. Goes back again into. Okay, I think we'll stop there for today. I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions, once again, just put it in the comments below, and I'll get back to you down there, and if there's something that needs a little bit more involved description, I'll tack it onto the next video. So we'll get into the middle part next, and then the ending on the video after that. And then I'd like to get into some other tunes by other players, tunes that don't even have transcriptions out there, that I tried to figure out by ear, and show you how I play tunes. Some tunes by, Don Ross, Billy McLaughlin, Preston Reed, my big heroes. So, hope you're doing okay out there. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.